Most people, when they destroy someone, feel something about it: guilt, shame, satisfaction, something. Tony Soprano feels nothing, not because he is broken, but because he has arrived at a philosophy, a complete, internally consistent explanation for why what he does is not cruelty. It is simply the natural order of things. In Season 2, Episode 10 of The Sopranos, Tony Soprano visits his childhood friend Davey Scatino in the middle of the night.
What are you doing here? Could ask you the same fucking question. It's my store.
Davey is sleeping in a tent inside his own sporting goods store, too ashamed, too broken to go home to his wife and kids. Tony has spent weeks methodically draining Davey's business through a scheme called a bust-out, using the store's credit lines to buy merchandise, sell it on the street, and leave the debts behind when the business collapses. Davey let Tony into his executive poker game. He lost money he didn't have. And Tony, who knew from the beginning that Davey had a store that could be exploited, let him play. This scene, 2 minutes of quiet conversation in a darkened store.
Congratulations, it's a fucking disaster. Hey, some of those airline tickets came in. You want me to split them with you and Richie? They're mine. It's my idea.
Is one of the most chilling things Tony Soprano ever does. Not because of the violence, because of the total absence of it. To understand what makes this scene extraordinary, you need to understand the relationship between these two men and what it means that Tony weaponized it. Davey Scatino and Tony Soprano grew up together. They were childhood friends, the kind of history that implies trust, loyalty, a shared past. They have memories together, stories. They are the kind of friends who remember each other's fathers, who were there at the moments that shaped each other into men. Davey is not a criminal. He's a civilian, a husband, a father, a small business owner in New Jersey. He runs a sporting goods store. He coaches his kids' sports team. He is, by every measure, a normal man living a normal life. He is exactly the kind of person the mob is not supposed to touch. Not because the rules protect him, but because the friendship was supposed to. He also has a gambling addiction, and Tony knew this. When Davey showed up to the executive game, Tony's high-stakes poker game, Tony didn't turn him away. He let him in. He watched Davey lose. He extended credit when Davey ran out of money. He kept the door open. And when the debt grew large enough, he began the bust-out, a methodical fraud scheme where Tony and his associate Richie April used the store's credit lines to order merchandise in bulk, sell it on the street, and leave Davey holding the debts when the business collapses into bankruptcy. This is not impulsive. This is not opportunistic in the way we might imagine, a predator spotting weakness and striking. This was planned from the moment Davey sat down at the table. Tony knew Davey had the store. Tony knew Davey had the addiction. Tony knew exactly what the end of this story looked like before the first hand was dealt. By the time Tony shows up at the store that night, Davey has lost everything. His savings, his business, his dignity. He is sleeping in a tent in his own store because he cannot face his family. He is a man who has been eaten alive, slowly, deliberately by someone he trusted since childhood. And Tony has come to explain why this is perfectly reasonable.
Well, I knew you had this business here, Davey. It's my nature. Frog and the scorpion, you know?
The scorpion and the frog is one of the oldest moral fables in existence. A scorpion asks a frog to carry it across a river. The frog hesitates. If the scorpion stings me, we both drown. The scorpion argues. That would make no sense. So the frog agrees. Halfway across, the scorpion stings. As they both sink, the frog asks, why? The scorpion answers, it's my nature. Tony doesn't just reference this fable. He uses it as a confession and as an absolution. By invoking the scorpion, Tony is telling Davey something devastating. I was always going to do this to you. Not because I hate you, not because you wronged me, but because this is what I am, and you put yourself in reach of what I am. The fault, Tony implies, lies with the frog for agreeing to carry the scorpion across the river in the first place. This is one of the most sophisticated deflections of moral responsibility in television history. Tony is not denying what he did. He is reframing it as an inevitability, as natural law rather than human choice. Scorpions sting. Wolves hunt. Rivers flow downhill. Tony Soprano busts out businesses. The universe did this to Davey. Tony was merely the instrument. Notice also what Tony does not do. He does not say he had no choice. He does not claim external pressure or necessity. He says, I chose this, and I chose it because it is my nature. There is a brutal honesty here that most people never encounter. Tony is not lying to Davey. He is offering Davey the clearest possible explanation of who he always was, and implying that Davey should have known. And the most terrifying part is that Tony believes this completely. There is no performance here, no manipulation designed to make Davey feel better. Tony has constructed an entire worldview in which his predatory behavior is simply the order of nature. And in doing so, he has freed himself from guilt entirely.
Hey, you're not the first guy to get busted out. This is how a guy like me makes a living. This is my bread and butter. When this is over, you're free to go. You can go anywhere you want.
Listen to the structure of what Tony says next. He does not apologize. He does not express regret. He does not soften the blow with warmth or nostalgia. He delivers a business explanation, clear, factual, almost administrative, to a man who is weeping in front of him. This is how a guy like me makes a living. Not, I'm sorry this happened to you. Not, you put me in a difficult position. But this is a professional matter. This is my income stream. You are a line item. The phrasing, a guy like me, is doing enormous work in that sentence. It's not Tony saying I. It's Tony invoking a category, a type. As if there is a natural class of people who operate this way, and Tony simply belongs to it, the way a surgeon belongs to a class of people who cut into bodies. It is not personal, it is professional, it is structural. And then, with breathtaking casualness, he offers Davey freedom. When this is over, you're free to go. You can go wherever you want, as if the problem was ever captivity, as if Davey's real imprisonment, the debt, the shame, the destroyed business, the family he can no longer face, simply ceases to exist once Tony declares it over. This is predatory generosity, one of the most insidious power moves a dominant person can make. By offering Davey his freedom, Tony reframes the entire interaction. He is no longer the man who destroyed Davey's life. He is the man who is releasing Davey from his obligations. The benevolence of the exit is meant to obscure the violence of the entry. Davey cries because he understands, perhaps for the first time with total clarity, that there was never a version of this where Tony was his friend. The friendship was the access, the history was the trap, the warmth was the bait. The game was always rigged, and it was rigged from a place of genuine familiarity, which makes it so much worse than if a stranger had done it.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Tony doesn't storm out, he doesn't linger, he simply leaves, the way you leave a meeting that went as expected. And Davey sits alone in a store that used to be his. This exit is the final tactic, and it is as deliberate as everything that came before it. A dramatic departure would have given the scene emotional weight, would have acknowledged that something significant just happened between two people. Tony's casual exit denies Davey even that. It says, this conversation was not memorable for me. You are not memorable for me. I've had this conversation before, and I will have it again. The empty shelves around Davey are the only eulogy his business gets. What makes Tony Soprano one of the most psychologically sophisticated characters in television is not the violence. Violence is simple. What is extraordinary about Tony is the philosophy, the complete coherent internal logic that allows him to do what he does without experiencing it as wrong. The scorpion and the frog is not a manipulation tactic Tony deploys on Davey in the moment. It is how Tony actually understands himself. He is a predator. Davey was prey. The encounter was inevitable the moment Davey sat down at the poker table, because that is what scorpions do when frogs climb on their backs. This worldview is what makes Tony genuinely dangerous. Not his violence, not his power, not his crew. The man who feels guilt can be reached. The man who feels remorse can be appealed to. The man who feels nothing, because he has built a philosophy that converts guilt into natural law, cannot be moved by any of those things. There is no lever. There is no crack in the armor. There is only the nature. Davey Scatino walked into that poker game thinking he was playing cards with an old friend. He was always just a store with an available credit line. Tony didn't hide this. He told Davey to his face in the dark in a camping tent inside a dying business. And that, the willingness to say the true thing out loud with no apology and no shame, is the most chilling form of power Tony Soprano ever exercised.